Hello YouTube, this is Dexter Nolan here with a brand new deck profile for you. This is a really cool deck. Pretty much, I heard a deck build that was being run in a regional and that it top 8'd. I could not find the list myself, but the idea was really cool and I thought, hey, maybe I can try and make up my own homemade list from my own cards. And because the two decks that were used together, hybrided, were actually my two favourite decks, two of my main decks. So I'll get straight into it and go through and I'll explain as I go through. Okay, so first off, you got 3 Geargia Accelerator. Now, first off, you know this guy's really good in Geargia. Great for rank 4 plays and searchable, all that good stuff. It's one of your main cards in Geargia. Then you have triple Geargia armor. This makes sense. He's your searcher. He's really great. He's high defense. Set him first turn. They usually won't get over them. And he nets you a search when they attack into him. You know, next turn you can make really good shenanigans, and you can flip him face down again. It's for an extra search, so it's not just a once per card effect. Then one Geargiano, because when Geargian dies, you can get him back. Also, you can make a play with him and Geargia Arsenal to get load the grave up. So there we go. Triple Geargia Arsenal, because he searches out your other cards for your play. I was thinking about cutting this maybe to 2. By the way, this is my own list based on an idea that I seen. So yeah. So what I done was I cut 10 cards out of this to put the Geargia engine in, and believe it or not, it works exceptionally well. Geargia Satellar Knights top to regional, and it's pretty cool. I mean, the deck runs pretty well. It's a great rank 4 spam engine. Altair Deneb engine, amazing. Geargia engine, amazing. They work together. They don't have much synergy, but they work together because no matter which one you choose to use or open with, they're both great. And you can hold the other engine in your hand for later gameplays. I mean, Deneb and Altair alone, they just combo so great together. I mean, you go Altair, revive Deneb, Deneb searches Altair for next turn. Rank 4. Next turn, you Altair Deneb, repeat, recycle. I mean, it only works for about 3 rank 4s, but 3 rank 4s is enough to win you the game, considering that you've this engine spamming rank 4s as well. So yeah, 3 Altair and 3 Deneb. You guys know what these do. If you don't know what any of these cards do, check out my individual Geargia and Satellar Knight profiles. And believe it or not, even though I'm not a fan of gimmicky decks, but this deck really runs well, and it has a low monster count too, 16 monsters, and it runs so well. I can't say this enough. Pretty much what you're doing is you're swapping out the Traptrix engine for a small Satellar Knight engine, and it works wonders. Trust me guys, it pluses so good and it's fast. I don't think it's as good as normal Satellar Knights, and I know you might be like, oh, then why play it at all? Why not just play normal Satellar Knights? Well, because it's really fun and it has more power than it, if you get what I mean. Sure, it's not as consistent, you can't search as well, you cannot use Unakali, set up your plays, you cannot do a bit of burn with Alsam, you cannot make really cool Deltros plays either. But you can spam rank 4s a lot harder, and when one engine fails, you can just use the other. So if your first turn, if your Altair gets bottomless and you cannot use your Deneb to make a rank 4, you can just set your Geargia armor. Triple Jolly, because even though you special summon a lot, you really want to open up with some good cards. I'm thinking about cutting that for 3 upstart because you have so many cards that are good you can open up with. The chances are you won't need to dig for 3. Double Lance allows your plays to go through, and triple MST because it does pretty much the same thing as Lance, except instead of reactively, it does it preemptively. So yeah, and it's also good against those floodgates too. The one soul charge because I'm a poor scrub and I don't have 3. And I know you might be like, hey, if you're a poor scrub, then how can you afford 3 Satellar Knight Denebs and Alphas and all that? Well, I actually believe this card is going to get hit in the ban list, and I really don't want to be holding on to too many of them when it does get hit. So yeah, if that's a good enough excuse for not having soul charges, please take it. 1 Dark Hole, 1 Book of Moon, and 1 Mind Control. These are fairly common. 3 really good cards. Mind Control isn't used as often, but Mind Control is really good in here because most decks run rank 4. I mean level 4s. You steal them. You have so many level 4s. You can just summon one, steal their monster, use it for a Castell play or something. Double Rhoda searches out your combo pieces earlier, your warrior type combo pieces, and that's it for the spells and monsters. So I'm going to get straight into the traps. 1D Prison because this is meant to be something else, but I just don't know what it's meant to be yet. But it is meant to be something, trust me on that one. I actually was thinking about putting in Battleguard Howling, I think it's called, instead of this card, and it's actually a pretty solid card. You should look it up. It's a techie kind of choice, but it is really good, and yeah, more situational, but still really good. Then you have your 4 staples, 4 trap staples. I run these in pretty much every deck. Torrential is seeing less play now because of the fact that so many decks have floaters. You Torrential of Field of Yang Zings, I mean, they just float. If you Torrential Field of Burning Abyss, they just float. If you Torrential Field of Shadows, they get crazy plus searches. I mean, there's no point in playing this card then. By the time you Torrential Satellar Knights, they've already plussed 3 or something. It's ridiculous, and there's so much negation to do. So Torrential, I'm thinking about cutting as well. 3 Call the Haunted, it's crazy good in this deck. So is Soul Charge. So I was thinking of maybe trying to find another Soul Charge and adding that in. Maybe cut some of those playing cards I see. I mean, I always say that every deck I make, there's always cards I want to cut, and it's true. I'm never satisfied with a deck. There's always ways to improve it, and I'm not the best deck builder in the world, so I'll never get that perfect deck. So I'm always hoping to improve, taking out cards, testing new ones, and that's why I change up a lot. So 2 Wiretap, and that is it for the 40 card main deck, and yeah, that's it. So pretty cool. 2 very good decks, 2 very fast rank 4 decks. Turbo's really fast. It's consistent, and you won't lose with it. It's in my opinion inferior to Satellar Knights, but it's kind of I guess easier to play. Now Satellar Knights are also really easy to play, but the plays in this deck are so straightforward. There is, no matter what you draw, you know what you're going to do. You know, if you draw a Deneb and an Armor and I don't know what else, you know what to do. You set the Armor because it's better turn 1, and then next turn you'll have a Deneb for going down. I mean, there's never a time when you're going to be like, will this be better in this situation, or perhaps this, because the deck just plays itself. And I think it's actually a very good choice for Geargia players who have lost faith in their deck and want to move on and make a new deck. Build this, and then slowly drift into Satellar Knights. Satellar Knights, I think, are the best deck of the format. So yeah, sorry about ranting on there. I hope you enjoyed this deck. I'm going to go straight into the extra deck. I was going to end the video there, but I just remembered extra deck too. 2 Deltros, because you can make him. He's generic, so you can use the Geargias. So yeah, 2 Deltros. 2 Gigantex, because you won't really make 3 in this deck, especially with cool, great rank 4s like Estella out too. So yeah, Gigantex, because why not? He searches too. 1 Omega, 1 Gandiva, because both of these cards can be made by an Altair play, and why not run them? They're very powerful cards. 1 Castell, because I think he's one of the better cards in the deck, better extract monster, and I'm going to be getting a second one of this because he's just too good not to run 2 of. So yeah, double Castell when I get the second one. 1 Black Ship, because it gets around hands, even though they're not as relevant anymore, it's still a great card against a multitude of decks. 1 Steelstorm Roach, 1 Ragnar Zero, 1 Rhapsody and Berserk, 1 Maystroke, because they're all fairly self-explanatory cards, and pretty solid too. So they're my opinions on this. I also play number 104 Masquerade. It's a pretty good card. I think there's another card called Evil Swarm Ouroboros and Shockmaster. So if Shockmaster gets limited or released from the ban list, I'll play the Shockmaster. Otherwise, I think I'll probably replace this with an Ouroboros. This is the card I'll be getting rid of for Castell, because it's, I think, just simply worse. Castell gets around so much more. Maybe it doesn't get past set back row, but for everything else, Castell is just far better. And 1 Blade Armor Ninja, because it's a great OTK card. Because, I mean, you're doing 4,400 damage if you don't have your monsters, no cards on the field, so I don't see a reason not to run this card. So yeah, that's my Geargia Satellar Knight deck profile, which I'll most likely be uploading. I thought it was a really cool idea, and I gotta say, fair play to that guy who topped the regionals with it, because it's something that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of. I mean, it did come into my head, what could I possibly hybrid with Satellar Knights and Geargia? But it never kind of stuck. I never was on like, yeah, that could really work. I just thought, probably not, and I moved on. And I really think it's an amazing and a good deck. Of course, it topped against stuff like Shadows and other Satellar Knight builds, so it obviously has its place. I don't think it's going to be a deck that's going to see play, but just simply because people are just going to want to run pure Satellar Knights. I mean, you're already paying for the NEB, so why not play for the alphas too? So, yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you could please leave a like and possibly subscribe if you did like this video. I do upload videos every week or two, and I always change up decks. I'm getting an Evol deck and an Inzektor deck in, so I'll be doing a profile for each of those in the upcoming weeks. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.